The times where people ignore the red flags and say, let's just keep pushing, those are the times where you fail. The majority of things that we're buying are created by men. You always learn more from your failures than you do your successes. I love creating, and I think that as women, you're not often given authorship, yet women represent 85% of people making purchases in homes across all.
Penn Badgley is finally pulling back the curtain on Blake Lively. And trust me, it ain't pretty. While everyone's been swooning over her flawless Hollywood image behind the scenes, let's just say mean girl energy doesn't even begin to cover it. If you think this sounds dramatic, just wait until you hear how she tried to sabotage Penn's entire career. And that's just the start! Alabama Barker just dropped a diss track aimed straight at Pod Baby. And let me tell you, she did not come to play. Meanwhile, the conversation around Justin Bieber's past just took a seriously dark turn, with shocking claims that his own mother practically handed him over to Diddy. There's a lot to unpack, so let's get straight into it. So, has Blake ever been exposed for messing with her co-stars before? Not really, but the way she went after Penn? Straight up ruthless. Imagine stepping onto set, ready to do your job, only to find out that the lead actress, the one you're supposed to have romantic chemistry with, despises you from day one. And not only that, but she's actively turning the entire cast against you. That's exactly what Blake did to Penn when Gossip Girl first started filming. And here's the kicker. She even admitted it in an old interview. She straight up said she made sure the rest of the cast was against him because she didn't want him there. Her words, not mine. Now, tell me, what kind of behavior is that? And the craziest part? Penn didn't even do anything wrong. It took the cast an entire week to realize Blake was just hating for no reason, while Penn was actually a solid dude? Make it make sense. Now, let's talk about how Hollywood really works. Because while Blake went on to become the industry's golden girl, Penn, he practically disappeared. Sure, he's making a major comeback now with you, but after Gossip Girl, he was low-key blacklisted. And knowing what we know now, the dots connect way too easily. Blake's influence in the industry was no joke. And once she married Ryan Reynolds, aka Hollywood royalty, she had the media in the palm of her hand, A-listers in her circle, and producers practically bending over backward for her. So when she made it clear she wasn't rocking with Penn, that was enough to tank his career. And if you think this is a reach, tell me this. Why does it feel eerily familiar to the drama surrounding It Ends With Us? Besides being knee-deep in a messy legal battle with Justin Baldoni, people immediately noticed something was off at the movie's premiere. Blake and the rest of the cast were conveniently pushing Baldoni out, just like she did with Penn. Look at Colleen Hoover's situation. The moment the real story got out, she was so embarrassed she vanished from social media and even considered retiring. And now that she's back, she's erased every trace of Blake from her Instagram. No tags, no mentions, nothing. And Blake's response? She hit that unfollow button on Colleen real quick. People have been wondering why the rest of the It Ends With Us cast hasn't spoken up for Justin Baldoni. But let's be real, just like Colleen, they're probably too ashamed to admit they ever believed Blake in the first place. Because guess what? She's been pulling the strings for years, controlling the narrative, throwing people under the bus the second it benefits her, and somehow always coming out looking squeaky clean. Journalists have called her out, co-stars have side-eyed her, and even fans have clocked the shady behavior. But every single time, she walks away untouchable. Well, not anymore. Between her history with Penn and this ugly legal battle with Baldoni, that flawless image is starting to crack, and people are finally seeing her for who she really is. But here's the kicker. After all that hate she had for Penn, imagine the shock when they ended up dating for 3 years before she dumped him and ran straight into Ryan Reynolds' arms. And it gets even messier! Leaked messages are now making the rounds, and some are even speculating that Blake had a thing for Baldoni too. Same old script as Penn. Some believe Penn was just another casualty of her Hollywood power trip, and that at some point she deliberately made sure he never got the opportunities he deserved. Coincidence? Or calculated? You tell me. Blake might be a C-list actress who can't make moves without her husband's influence, but if there's one thing she does excel at, it's sabotage. And you've got to admit, she's mastered the art. But while Blake is out here wrecking careers, Alabama Barker is busy destroying reputations with a diss track so savage that Bod Baby is ready to throw hands. This beef? It's getting real messy, real fast. Alabama had been teasing this diss track for a minute, and when she finally dropped it, let's just say she devoured Bod Baby. No crumbs left. But this wasn't unprovoked. This was Alabama's response to Overcooked, where Bod Baby went straight for her neck. And now, it's officially payback time. And it's getting serious. Bod Baby made it crystal clear that if they ever cross paths, it's on, like full-blown showdown. And honestly, the way things are heating up, it could go down sooner than later. Alabama might want to watch her back, because if you've been keeping up with Baby, you already know, she does not back down from a fight. She's always been unpredictable, and let's be real, it wouldn't be shocking if she tried to run up on Alabama in public and brag about it later. We're talking about someone who literally posted a video of herself fighting her own mom for the internet to see. At this point, Bod Baby is beefing with half the internet. Her ex, Soulja Boy, Tyga, her own mother, and now Alabama? But here's the thing. This ain't just some rap battle. You'd think this was just an industry feud, but the moment Alabama stepped in the booth and threw some shade, Baby made it very clear. This is not just music. This is real life. All it took was Alabama dropping a snippet of her track, and Bod Baby lost it. She went off, calling Alabama fake, a liar, and blasting her for even making a diss track in the first place. But what really set her off? The fact that Alabama was out here acting like she never messed with Baby's man? Baby didn't hold back, straight up saying, "Instead of being sorry, you're making diss tracks? Girl, what is wrong with you? You don't make no sense. You're coming for me like you didn't F with my man. If you were really sorry, you would have just said it. But nah, you'd rather be messy." Meanwhile, Alabama, unbothered. She's still out here pushing her track like Baby's threats are just background noise. But let's be real, does she really want that smoke? Because if these two ever cross paths, it's looking like a full-on showdown. And Alabama didn't stop there. She went all in, calling out Levon for allegedly trying to get with her and throwing major shade at Bod Baby's looks, surgeries, and even her parenting skills. Messy, messy, messy. Of course, Baby clapped back. She called Alabama's diss track straight up laughable, saying she could never match her flow or delivery. But hold up. Alabama's drama aside, let me update you on Bod Baby's ongoing chaos with her mom, Barbara. Would you believe that just days after their little WWE-style showdown, Barbara is suddenly out here defending her daughter? Yeah, you heard that right. Barbara is not about to let Soulja Boy or Bod Baby's baby daddy, Levon, keep playing games with her daughter, starting with Levon. She's calling him out for allegedly trying to cut out everyone around Bobby just so he can have full control over her money. And it doesn't stop there. Barbara also put him on blast for still messing with his other baby mama while living under Bobby's roof. Now, if that's true, then this man is running a whole scam. He's been accused time and time again of ruining Baby's career, her relationships, and most importantly, her mental health. But before you start applauding Barbara for finally standing up for her daughter, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Because this situation, it went left real quick. Turns out, Levon had some things to say too. He clapped back, accusing Barbara of only being mad because she no longer has access to Baby's money, like she did back in the day. And let's be real, we all remember how that played out. But things got even uglier when Levon brought up an incident that he had no business mentioning without Baby's permission. In a shocking move, Levon reminded Barbara of how she always prioritized men over her daughter, even when one of them allegedly harmed Baby. And instead of protecting her, Barbara covered for the man and expected baby to stay silent. After this ugly exchange, one thing became crystal clear. Pod Bobby has been surrounded by toxic people her whole life. People who should have protected her have used her instead. And if she doesn't break this cycle soon, it might be too late. Even with all this chaos swirling around, nobody seems to be checking in on Pod Baby's well-being. And let's not forget, she's been saying she's battling cancer. If that's true, she doesn't need drama, she needs support. But instead of rallying around her, she's caught up in toxic relationships, industry feuds, and a life that's been messy from the start. And honestly, it's the same story we see with so many young stars. Bad influences, toxic environments, and a childhood that never really belonged to them. But if you thought Baby's story was tragic, Justin Bieber's journey to fame is just as complicated, maybe even worse. Because while the world saw his rise as a fairy tale behind the scenes, it was anything but a dream. Did you know that Justin Timberlake and Usher were literally fighting over who would sign him? On the surface, it looked like Bieber hit the jackpot, but in reality, his struggles were just beginning. And now, with all these new rumors about him battling serious mental health issues, people are pointing fingers, again, at his mother, Patty Mallet. Some say she sold him out, while others think she was just trying to give him a shot at a better life. But to really understand why Patty made the choices she did, especially handing her teenage son over to Diddy, we have to take a deep dive into her past. Because trust me, when you see what she went through, everything starts to make sense. But the real question is, did her own trauma cloud her judgment when she let her son run with industry giants like Usher and Diddy, completely unsupervised? Patty had Justin just 2 weeks before turning 18, raising him in a struggling neighborhood while juggling multiple jobs just to keep the lights on. She did everything she could to give her son a better life, but behind the scenes, her own past was filled with trauma. She has openly shared that she endured horrific abuse from the ages of 3 to 13, and by the time she was a teenager, she had already turned to substances and alcohol as an escape. Her childhood was pure chaos, and by the time Justin's YouTube videos started gaining traction, she was still fighting her own battles. So when Scooter Braun and Usher stepped in, Patty saw them as her son's ticket to a better future. She was the one signing the contracts, making the calls, and trusting the industry to protect him. But was she too trusting? Because one decision led to Justin being placed in some seriously compromising situations, like the now infamous 2009 incident where a 15-year-old Bieber spent 48 hours at Diddy's house. People have been questioning for years why that was even allowed, because let's be honest, it wasn't just some casual studio session. Diddy himself bragged about taking Justin under his wing, even claiming that they went full buck crazy during that time. Now, with Diddy facing explosive accusations involving trafficking and predatory behavior, people are looking back at that moment in a whole new light and realizing just how disturbing it really was. As we've recently learned, Justin reportedly wants nothing to do with Diddy anymore. And with everything coming to the surface, can you really blame him? People close to Justin say he was thrown to the wolves as a teenager, left to navigate an industry full of predators while his mother, whether naive or simply overwhelmed, let it happen. There's no doubt that Patty loved her son, but many struggle to understand how, after enduring her own horrific experiences as a child, she could entrust him to people she barely knew. Was it all for fame? Or was it deeper than that? Some argue that her past trauma blinded her to the red flags. Long before Justin was even born, Patty's life had already been shaped by trauma, poverty, and heartbreak, circumstances that inevitably influenced the choices she made as a young mother. Choices that would ultimately set Justin on a path filled with power, fame, and according to some, dangerous influences. When Justin's YouTube covers went viral, Patty found herself in a world she had no experience in. She had her faith, her instincts, and a desperate hope that she was making the right decisions. But let's be honest, faith alone wasn't enough to shield Justin from the harsh realities of the entertainment industry. Even she admitted in her memoir that she was drowning in legal contracts and industry jargon that she barely understood. Yet, despite feeling overwhelmed, she also acknowledged that she knew exactly what she was doing. She recognized that signing those contracts meant signing away her son's childhood. And yet, she went through with it, believing that God wouldn't have placed her in this situation just to let her fail. But did she fail? Because with a single signature, she handed Justin Bieber over to Usher and Diddy. And now, here we are. The most unsettling part? Usher once fondly spoke about how he didn't just mentor Justin, he delivered him to L.A. Reid like a gift when he was just 14. Reid wasted no time signing him, and within a year, 15-year-old Justin was spending 48 hours at Diddy's house. Now, with Diddy facing multiple accusations of trafficking and predatory behavior, people are looking back at that timeline with fear and asking some hard questions. Did Patty unknowingly sell her son's innocence to an industry that chews young stars up and spits them out? Or was she simply unable to recognize the warning signs? What we do know is that Justin eventually distanced himself from Diddy. But was it too late? Because let's not forget, Justin's struggles didn't come out of nowhere. His substance use, his breakdowns, his battles with self-image, it all traces back to something. And at the center of it all, Patty. A mother who undoubtedly loved her son, but also a mother who, willingly or not, may have put him in harm's way. But when it comes to Justin's family, Patty isn't the only complicated figure. His father, Jeremy, was in and out of his life, completely gone for an entire year when Justin was just 4. In recent years, they've reconnected. And at one point, Justin even admitted, "I'm a lot closer to my dad than I am to my mom." The bottom line? Jeremy was an absent father. He came and went as he pleased, showing up only when it was convenient. And with everything Justin has been through, that absence might have left a deeper impact than anyone realized. It's pretty clear that Justin Bieber was failed by more than just his mom. A source revealed that he had been explicitly advised to stay as far away as possible from anything and everything related to Diddy. And around that same time, another source claimed that Justin has been struggling mentally. Big time. So here's the real question. Did Patty truly protect her son the way a mother should? Or did she just put her trust in the wrong people, believing they had his best interests at heart? Because looking back, the whole situation is starting to look real suspicious. But enough about what I think. I know y'all have thoughts on this. Do you believe Blake Lively really sabotaged Penn Badgley's career? Is Alabama Barker taking things too far? Or is Bod Baby just mad she got out-rapped? And what do you make of this whole Justin Bieber situation? Drop your takes in the comments because I need to hear what y'all think. And of course, if you love keeping up with the drama, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Because trust me, there's more tea on the way and you do not want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.